How much do you or should you fight for your creative vision in a project when the client wants you to make changes that you see as detrimental to the project? Sometimes it's so soul destroying when you have a vision and passion for the project and you're made to butcher the design.
Goodness. So my short answer to that question is that it's a balance. So sometimes we need to pick our battles when it comes to fighting for our work. It's a very exhausting job being a creative person. We pour our heart and our soul into an idea. We present it with passion and gusto and excitement, and then you can get or no, I don't like that, but maybe that bit, but if you change it, and it can be really really soul destroying, as I think was mentioned in that question. Yeah, and it can actually hurt your feelings as well. So I really empathize with that question. I have a thought process that has helped me come out of those situations not feeling so defeated. And it's a little trick that I have in my brain. And Martine, I'd be interested in getting your 2 cents on this too. So I say to myself, all good, I've got 100 more ideas. And what that does to my brain, it kind of resets it, and it gives myself a confidence boost, and it kind of puts their critique in perspective, because often you end up in that room presenting this idea and there could be 100 ideas, 100 reasons why it didn't land. Maybe it was briefed in incorrectly. Maybe we got some weird steering along the way. Maybe the client was in a bad mood. I don't know. There could be a myriad of reasons. Sometimes it's not always on your work and what you've made and all the love and dedication that you've put into what is being presented. And this idea of like, oh, good, I've got 100 more ideas, is this little trigger for me to go, yeah, but I can do it again and I can do it better. So that's a little trick that I have. And another piece of advice that I'd have for this person, which has helped me avoid client disappointment, is removing the big reveal from creative rounds. And this is something that Scooter does exceptionally well. And I will be doing this for the rest of my life. Like, this is I really value this lesson that Scooter's imparted on me. So if we take the client along for the journey, by the time we get to the presentation where we're sharing our idea or our brand, the client expects it because they've been on that pathway with us. We've been working towards this together. So that idea of a big reveal can be obviously super exciting. And I've done amazing big reveals in the past at other agencies, and it's like such an adrenaline rush. But you can be left completely heartbroken. So yeah,
the tumbleweed across the
totally. Yeah. So the idea of like taking them along the journey, and we have sort of like particular check-in points where we show ideation phases and things like that. It becomes very collaborative. Obviously there's a sense of direction, and it's not a free-for-all. It's a very structured, where we're letting you into certain windows along that journey. But it means that by the end of that timeline, it's not like, and here's your idea, and they're like, oh, I didn't expect that. It's like, yes, that's what we made together. And you actually feel a bit of rapport and a bit of camaraderie with the client. So that's just something that I've really, really found quite successful over the last few years. But yeah, that idea of oh good, I have 100 more. Martine, do you?
I love that. I think what you're doing there is you're shifting from that sort of hyper-focus, tightly held intensity, attached to that particular idea, and shifting to more of a panoramic, hey, actually my brain's bigger than this one idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. Because it's funny to focus on this one thing for so long, and it's like, this is it. This is going to be the moneymaker, and it can just be ripped out from you. So I think you're right. Just taking the focus off that one thing straight after is kind of a bit like of a band-aid, and it helps me sort of get back on the tools or hustle the team back to being creative. Yeah, exactly.
When I was reading that question, a couple of things came to me. One was that's sort of both linked in a way. I don't know if you've heard of the paradoxical theory of change. So it's something that therapists work with a lot. So the theory is that the more you join with someone and fully understand and inhabit their reality, which you might not agree with, the more likely they are to shift and consider your reality. So we do that with clients who are really stuck, in a particular mindset and they can't see anything else. So as a therapist, you'll sort of really unpack and delve and then all of a sudden you find them shifting somewhere else. It's quite a good little trick to use, when you're arguing with friends and family as well.
That's very interesting.
But I think it could be useful maybe with a client to just really understand, okay, so what was your thinking there? Where's this? And okay, what's that? And that sort of gives them the room to then, rather than it being your idea versus their idea, to be a bit looser with their own concepts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. In fact, I had this whole speech ready to go, and you nailed it for me, Liv, because that was exactly what the last, I'd say, 7 or 8 years of my time in agencies was exactly that. And the reason for it, and I've been on both sides, and this is why I kind of know that it works, is the other part is that usually in an hour or two's meeting, you're trying to get across 3 or 4 weeks of work.
Oh my God.
And how can you possibly hope that you're going to be able to take someone on that journey through such a compressed amount of time and get them at the end? Sometimes it's just such a great idea that yes, and when you do it, the high is an even bigger high. But if you're able to take them through it, and when it gets to the end, they go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Totally. You got the work up, right? And it's much better to get the work up than it is to get a 30, 40, 50% hit rate on presenting a TDA.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference.
It's also interesting that concept that's sort of drilled into the industry of like a standard norm of, yes, we're going to have that 1 to 2 hour TDA meeting.
Yeah.
There are so many different people in that room, and not a lot of them want to hear, like 50% want to hear one thing, 50% want to hear the other thing. And tailoring your message in those meetings can be super challenging. Like I've been in rooms where there's the executive person who absolutely does not care about the theory, the color, the theory of thought that has gone behind every color in that suite, and how the typographical choices tell the story of the brand. Like, but there's someone that actually does want to hear that. So like, finding that balance is so tricky as well, because the executive leader, like maybe they just want to know how it's going to make them money. But
exactly.
There's someone in the room that wants to feel emotionally connected to the brand or the project too. So that's a really interesting challenge that I don't know if I know the answer to yet.
But that's just good. I mean, hopefully then you've got good account management, right? Like you've got someone who's gone and given you the brief of who's in the room and who cares about what, and has done the work with them behind the scenes, so that actually that final meeting is a given, right?
100%.
But often I've been in meetings. I remember a terrible meeting once, a Google pitch, and 2 people in the meeting, like we'd done the TDA, 2 people in the meeting loved the work. Another person comes in late and just goes, what is this? Why are we doing this? And it wasn't on us, right? Like it was actually questioning the entire brief and concept of what it was this was. And then the meeting just kind of fizzled out, and they said, oh, I think we've got some work to do on their end. And it was like, oh my God, like how did we not see that coming? And again, some of that's on the client side of like, why didn't you prep that properly? But so if you're taking them on the journey, all the better for it, because then you understand all those little nuances and the things that you've got to watch out for, and whether it ticks the boxes of these 3 different people with 3 different agendas. It's tough.